శ్రీ త్రిదండి చిన్నజీయర్ స్వామి వీళ్ళు ఉంటారు. చిన్నజీయర్ తెలియదా?
నేను స్వామిని అంత పట్టించుకోను, నేను వాళ్ళని నమ్మను కూడా.
Hello, sir. Is it audible, my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So last time we had right in downloading Java and all those things. Java, Git, Maven. Okay. Yeah. Java, Tomcat, MySQL. So this is server 1. This is server 2. Okay, and from here, this is our laptop. So we will hit, and here we will have web server also, HTTP. So we will hit this particular HTTP, okay, and then we will, from here, we will deploy the artifact. Okay, so we will hit this particular HTTP web server. So my IP address is 192.168.1.110, and this IP is 192.168.1.207. Yeah. So what I'll do is, from my laptop, I use http://192.168.1.207. Okay. When I hit this, I can able to see the HTTP test page. Okay. And then going forward, I will even see the student table from our CRED app. Okay. So let's start from server 1. So this is my server 1. So here we'll make sure, okay, I was just starting this one. So when I look at the Java version, here right now we have OpenJDK. Previously we were having JRE, right? Java Runtime Environment. Okay, so and when we were trying to do Maven deploy, so it was showing go with the JDK. That was error. Then I think Anwar, he downloaded and he gave it to me. Then I used this WinSCP just now only before starting. I used this WinSCP and I moved from my local laptop to this server. And from the server, I have used, okay, if I hit history, I can able to show you. So here, I moved from this to local /opt, and within the /opt, I used this RPM command to install JDK, and then I have set the environments also as per document. Okay, later on, let's check Git version. Git -- version. Yeah, we already have Git. Last class we installed Git. Now let's check Maven. MVN - Maven version. Okay, I think -- version. Command not found. Okay, so let's set up the Maven environment also. So we'll go to /opt. I think we have Maven here. So this is what Apache Maven what we have, and then we need to export these things. So the command is export m2_home is equals to /opt Apache. Don't worry about all these things, because when you go to the company, you will have documentations. Okay, you will have documentation and you have to follow them. So it's not like you have to remember each and everything. Okay. So this is Maven, and now again export M2 is equals to $M2 underscore home slash bin. Okay, now export space path is equals to slash opt slash Apache Maven 6.3 slash bin colon dollar path. Now MVN space hyphen hyphen version. Now you see Maven version it is showing. Okay. Now, now let's go to the server 2. So right now in server 1 we have done Java Git Maven, right? Now let's go to server 2. So what all things we need to install in server 2? In server 2
Java.
we need to install Java. Again here also we need to install Java. So what I'll do is let me check the IP. So the IP is 207. Okay, I'll close this and I'll again open WinSCP. WinSCP is a third-party software which you can use it to upload the content from your local system to server remote. So 192.168.1.207. Username is root. Password is 134. Enter. So this will give access for me to get into this. And here I have this Java JDK downloaded. So right click, upload, that's it, upload. So this is in slash root, I'm trying to upload. So once this is completed, I will go to server 2, and what is my present working directory? Slash root, LL, this is what the RPM is. Okay, now move JDK to slash opt. Okay, and when you go to slash opt now, you see this one, RPM space hyphen IVH JDK. So this will install Java JDK.
So RPN is the command to install from system.
Yeah, RPM is a package manager, like how you use Yum, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, RPM is a package manager. Okay, so now when you check Java hyphen version, Java hyphen version, now you see, oh, it came. Okay, still we have not set the environment path, right? So let's go here and set this Java environments. Copy. 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 Slash JDK JRE. Enter. And again export Java bin. This is Java bin is equals to $JAVA underscore bin slash SR Java JDK JRE bin. Now check Java hyphen version. Still showing maintain because maybe I have installed Java vim remove Java star. So let's check whether we have Java installed yum list installed pipe grep Java. Java star no start no. Okay, so now okay RPM hyphen JDK. Reinstalling. Okay, Java version. Still it's showing runtime. Oh, is it? Oh, this is the same one, right? I installed. Package will be erased. Let me remove once. Why is it getting runtime? I'm not sure. The same package what we have. Should open JDK. Okay, let's set environments. Here, I'm copying this command. Let's check if we get any errors or something. So here I will install HTTPD.
Sir, can you change the color of this server so we can understand where you are installing?
What?
Thank you.
What? Hello?
No, actually, the color, both the colors were black, so I was confused in which
Okay,
server
okay.
installing, so that's why.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So this white color is server 2. Now I have installed this server 2 and let's check this service systemctl status HTTPD. So it is inactive. So let's start it. And what is the status? It is active running. And let us enable so that while enabling the server service is also started. And let us check the firewall rules. Okay, the HTTP is not allowed, so let's allow firewall. Allow the port in the firewall. Firewall hyphen cmd hyphen hyphen permanent hyphen hyphen add hyphen port is equals to 80 slash TCP. Okay, firewall hyphen cmd hyphen hyphen reload. Now it is added. Now check. So 80 port is added. Okay, now what is this IP? 192.168.1.207. So let's go here and then HTTP 192.168.1.207. Now we can able to see HTTP test page. Now we will go to the first server here and do we have any directory? Yeah, make so get into task directory. So here we have this CRUD. Get into this CRUD which we downloaded using git clone command, and here we have something called pom.xml. Okay, now let's use this maven build tool. Okay, and then we'll create a package out of this particular pom.xml file. So when we run this particular command, okay, the dependencies for the code for this particular application, all those maven dependencies will be downloaded from the internet, and it will resolve all those dependencies, and we will be able to get the package from this particular code. Okay, now when you do ls, okay, you see something called target. So get into target and you see this particular var file into Tomcat server, which will be in server 2. So still we haven't configured anything in server 2. I mean like the Tomcat. Now let's go to server 2 file. We have done HTTP, but we need to install the Tomcat setup. Okay. So there is a Tomcat. Yeah, here. So we have to create a directory. So example within the OPT directory. So I created a Tomcat and then I downloaded this particular version of Tomcat 8 version, and then extracted. I just need to run the startup script. So Tomcat will be running. So let's go to second server. This white color is second server for us. So right now we are in PWD and I'm creating a directory by name Tomcat. Now I'm getting into the Tomcat directory and then downloading this particular tar file. Okay, I copied and pasted. Okay, so here what you're seeing something called error. So what could be the reason? The reason is in this particular location maybe the version changed. So just copy this particular until here, let's say. Okay, I copied and then open the browser. So you see versions. Now here you see 8.5.51, but we were trying, because that when I was creating the document, it was 8.5.24. Now it is 8.5.51. So the version changed. Okay, so when I click here, I see some other directories. So from 8.5.24 became 5.1 and then in bin Apache Tomcat. Okay, so I have to go to bin and then I need to get this particular file, which is 8.5.24 tar zz, but here 8.5.51 tar zz. So just right click, copy link address, go to your server, then write wget space, right click, enter. So it will download that zip file. Okay, once it is done, so you have to execute this command to extract xvzf. So now you see here we have CG file tar-xv zf space Apache. Now you see it got extracted. Now get into this Apache. Okay. And here you have something called bin directory, and you have here you have startup scripts. So // startup enter. Now our Tomcat started. Okay. Okay. Now go to your browser and to the same http://8080. Okay, it is showing URL not found because here the Tomcat port is not opened in the firewall. So what all things opened in the firewall? Firewall -cmd -list -r. Okay, only 80 port is allowed, but Tomcat port is 8080. So now open firewall -cmd -permanent space add -port is equals to 8080 TCP. Now firewall -cmd -reload. Now check the list. 8080 is allowed. Now go to this and then refresh. Okay, it's not coming. So right now where we are in bin, right? One step back and then look at the files. So get into this configuration ls and let's check the files here. Okay, web.xml, server.xml, Catalina, context.xml. So let me open vi space server.xml file. So here let's look at the configuration, what it is. Okay, 8080. 8080. Connector port 8080. Connector port is 8080 spine. 8080. Okay. So the connector port is 8080. It's not a problem. Firewall -cmd -reload. Sorry, here it should be colon, not /. Okay, so this is the home page of Tomcat. Okay, now here you have created the artifact, right? This is what the artifact. Okay, now we have to deploy this particular artifact into Tomcat server. Okay, so what is the command? You can use scp-icp space and the file name is credap.var space root @192.168.1.207. okay, colon / opt Apache. Okay, so we need to know this location. Okay, and here you have something called web apps. Okay, so you need to know this present working directory location. So all this location you have to type. So you are actually deploying the artifact into this particular location. Web apps is the location. So you can just remove this and then right click. So this is the location you are deploying. Okay, and it is asking whether to deploy or not. Okay, now it got deployed. Okay, now if you go to this location and you do ls, you see credap.var file. Now go to Tomcat and then / credap. So this is the student table. Okay, now here if you want to add, let's say Anwar. Okay, Muhammad Anwar course DevOps. He joined at 2020. Should give submit. Now I but when you are trying to save student details, it is not getting saved because what you need to have to save something storage, right?
Yes, sir.
Storage means database, right? So you need to set up database now. So I'm taking the same server and I will set up database. Okay, so let me create a directory db. Let me go to db and I will do duplicate. Okay, so here I am using this particular MySQL version in the second server. Right click, enter. Okay, so I can able to download MySQL. Now I need to use the same command rpm space -ivh. MySQL, it got installed. Okay, I mean the rpm the Apple release got installed. Now I use yum install MySQL -server. Now it will install MySQL DB. Yes. Yes. It's getting installed. Okay. So now we need to start the service MySQL D. And let me enable this and check the status. Okay, it's actively running. Okay, now, okay, so I have to configure this. Basically, the steps are I just downloaded the RPM file, I installed this Apple release, okay, and then installed MySQL server, started and enabled the service. Now here what we are trying to do is within this varlog MySQL d.log. So basically the location for log messages are var log messages in which while you are installing, it will generate a log file in which a temporary password will be located. So when you execute this command, you will get a temporary password. By using the temporary password, you have to set up the password for MySQL root login. So how you have administrator for Windows, root for Linux. Similarly, MySQL also will have an account called root account, which is main account. So you are setting up some password, and then you have to give privileges to access the databases. This is what the explanation. So now here I will execute this command to get the temporary password. And after you get the temporary password, you should write down it somewhere else. I don't know why it is not copying by Control C. So this is what the temporary password. Okay, so I'm just putting it on a notepad. This is a temporary password. Okay, and now configure MySQL. So we have to execute this command, which is MySQL _ secure _ installation. So it is asking enter password for root. So what is the password what we have? Just copy it, copy, right click, copy. Make sure you don't copy any spaces. I just kept right click, enter. Now I have to give new password. So I'm giving root @1234 r caps, or root @1234 r caps, and then just give enter, enter, enter. Okay. And then by default you are configuring the MySQL DBs. Now log in to check the MySQL root version, MySQL admin. I mean, like what is the version you installed for this server? Okay, it is asking password root @1234. Okay, so 5.7.29 is the version what we installed. Now you want to enter by using root. You want to enter. So the command is MySQL space -u space root. So root is a user you are trying to enter. Now it is asking password root @1234. Okay. Now here execute this command. This command means you are granting privileges for root account. *** means everything. For everything you are giving access. Okay. So right click, enter. Okay. So here you need to update your password. So here you need to upgrade your password. So in the document I gave new password, but you have to write here. You have to hard code, enter. Okay, it got affected. Now just say flush privileges. Okay, for MySQL, every query, so this is what called query. Every query should end with semicolon. Okay, and the main context, main parameters, whatever you give, they should be in capital letters. That is the syntax for MySQL queries. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now after this, once you once you deploy and then you are trying to give the username details or the student page, right? So these should go and save in some particular location, right? In the database.
Yes, sir.
And the database, who is hosting the database? MySQL. MySQL has multiple databases, out of which one of the database is student table, in which these details has to go and feed in that particular student table. So how this particular CREDAP is created is, in the code only, it is given that there will be a table called student. In the table, this data has to go. That's how the code is developed. Okay. So now we need to create this particular database here. Okay, let me check. Okay, so the command will be here only. Okay, let me go to GitHub. Yeah, GitHub CREDAP. So within this link, you see something called db.sql. So you need to execute these queries. Okay, so this is one line. So anything which is ending with semicolon is a single query. This is one query. This is another query, and this is all together another query. Total 3 queries. Okay, so first one is create database CREDAP. Okay, so right now I'm in MySQL only. Create database CRUD. So the database name is CRUD, and then use CRUD. That means we will be getting into CRUD database. CRUD. So right now we are into this particular database. Okay, now we need to create this particular table. So within the database, okay, so in MySQL, the data will be saved in tables and columns. So right now we are creating this particular table. So in this table, you see, in this table, you will have student ID, first name, last name, course, year. The same thing what you see here. Okay, okay. What is that? HTTP 192.168.1.207:8080, and then here CRUD app. So whatever the details here mentioned, you will see you are actually creating the database here. Okay. Now, if you execute this command like show tables, so you see one table. Okay, and let's say select star from student. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, you just selected, but there's nothing in it. So show star from student. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, because you haven't created anything yet. So now we created this database, but now what happens is, if you even save here, let's say Raj Kumar DevOps, let's say year 2020, if you even save, it is showing same error because you created Apache, you created database, but there is no integration between the Tomcat server service with your database. So you got to integrate that particular by using this context.xml file. Okay, within the Tomcat, you need to go to this file and you have to add this context. So that what is this context means? This is what the database you created, and then for the database, this is the username root, this is the password, and this is what the Tomcat server IP address. Okay, you need to copy this and paste in that particular location. Now let's go to that particular. So every configuration file will be in the conf directory. So pwd. Okay, so let's go to /opt apache. Okay, /opt, and here, okay, Tomcat. Okay, now Apache, and then conf. So here you see something called context.xml file. Okay, now let's open context.xml file, and here you have to give, okay, what it is mentioned. So copy this CRUD app and everything is done. Okay, add the below JDBC connector. This is JDBC connector. Resource information into your context.xml file under the conf directory of your Tomcat installation directory. Make changes to password and IP address in the below code. So you need to copy this and then paste it over here. Okay, what are the changes we need to do? Resource name is same. This is everything same. This is same. The root password is, this is JDBC. In the Tomcat, you are giving JDBC details. So what is the username? What is the password? I gave root 1234. Okay, and select star from table, student table, and this is the IP address of MySQL. What is the IP address? 192.168.1.207:3306 is basically the MySQL port number. Okay, escape :WQ, and here, because you changed something in the configuration of Tomcat, you need to restart the service. So go one step back, get into bin, First, you shut down the service, okay, and then you start it again. Okay, now Tomcat started. In the same server only, you have MySQL, right? You have MySQL. Okay, so MySQL also you created some DBs and all those things, right? That is fine. So now let's go to our student table. Now I gave all these details and then submit. Okay, it is showing the origin server did not find a current representation for the target source or not willing to disclose the ones exist. Okay, let me refresh. Adapt. Okay, Apache is working. Okay, so Tomcat has some problem. Okay, firewall -c. ET. Okay, we need to even allow the DB port also. Firewall -cmd permanent add port is equals to 3306/TCP and then reload. Okay. Now this is fine. Now go one step back, go to conf ei context.xml. Okay. And this is fine. Now let me, the first thing is we need to have Tomcat open. Tomcat is not running, so let me go and shut it down and restart it. Shut down. Okay. Start. You should first get Tomcat page. It is taking time. So you can see the logs here. Where log? Okay. So you see here you have something called logs, and here you have Catalina.out. Tail -f Catalina.out. Here you can able to see logs. -f means live logs, whether the Tomcat started properly or not, or any errors. So now you see Catalina startup in 47245 seconds. But okay, maybe there is some problem in context.xml. So conf context. Okay, let's say if I comment this line, this line, this line, this line, this line. Okay, colon WQ. Then shut down. Start up. Refresh. Sometimes we even have some cache problem also. 92 207. The origin server did not find a current representation for the target resource or is not willing to disclose. This is working fine. Systems will stop. Okay, let's check this error. X file. Okay, there's some problem with network. Hmm. Network failed. Of network.service failed because the control process exited with error code. FNXC failed to start bring up down networking. Reset. It's a network problem. Okay, there's some problem with network. Bring up down networking error. Since My Oracle VMs. Sudden some problem. Okay, 107.247. Okay, so we need to start Apache, right? Okay, go to /opt cat, and in this you have bin. Okay, in this you have bin, then startup. Okay, Tomcat started here colon 8080. Okay, so 8.5.5 and the origin server did not find a current implementation for the jar. It's not going to disclose the system. Okay. Let's Oh, okay. Java. And desert user. Okay. The Java issue. Okay, now Adapt. You can see student table. Now let me go to configuration, then index.xml. Here I use this particular context as a JDBC connector. Click. This is JDBC. The IP of this 192.168.1.247. 192.168.247. Rest everything is same. How about GitHub? Create database CRUD app. Use CRUD app. Create student table. Student. Create database CRUD app. So here, okay. Skip. Okay. Then, okay, let me 247, right? The IP. Number 247. Okay. Number 247. Student. First name. Now, within the student table of CRUD app, student table of CRUD app database, I just added these particular details. Now, if I go to MySQL -u root -p root @32334, and here the command is show BASES. Show databases. I have CredApp database. So now use CredApp. Now here show tables. I have used student table and then use student okay, no, show star from student. So there's a command actually, show star from select, I think. Yeah. Select star from student. So basically these are all database queries. Don't worry about these commands. It will be taken care by database, but just know some basic commands of DB. So this is what the student details which we give. Now if you add something new, let's say Anwar Khan DevOps 2020, let's say. It got just added. You go here and then execute the same command. You can see the details. So basically, whatever the data we are feeding here, it is getting and saving into this database, which is CredApp, and in that you are saving to student table. Okay, here you see CredApp in this student table you are saving. So did you guys understood? Now this is so clumsy, I know, but the point is generally it will be the same case whenever you are trying to set up things. You get a lot of problems, you do troubleshooting, and then you'll be a little out of the procedure, but overall you will have the summary of procedure in your mind and then you will resolve the issues. Okay, so overall what I did is in the server 1 I have installed Java, server 2 also Java, and then I installed Git and downloaded the CredApp code from GitHub. And then using Maven build tool, I created the artifact. Now in the server 2, I have configured Tomcat and I have configured MySQL database. Now I deployed the artifact from server 1 to server 2 in Tomcat Apache directory within the web apps location. Okay. So now whenever I hit this Tomcat page, I could able to see the Tomcat home page. I mean like the CredApp database student table. But when I try to save the details of students, it is not getting saved because still we have not configured MySQL. So we use the JDBC connector to integrate the Tomcat with MySQL database. So I used the context.xml details in the configuration of context.xml in the Tomcat. Now, when I try to save some data within the Tomcat, I can able to see that particular details in the database what we created, which is CredApp DB, and in which we created student table. So is it clear? And you are hitting the particular Tomcat IP by specifying the port number, which is 8080, in which you are looking for CredApp. Let's say, for example, this is one application. CredApp is an application. Let's say you have one more application. Let's say you have register, daily login register. So what is the case then? You go here, you open here. Now that will be register. That's it. You can able to see database. Now let's say you have one more application. So based on those applications, you will list out here, and depending on that application, you can able to see the details. And within the details, whenever you are trying to save, it will go and save in the database, in the MySQL database. Is it clear? So if I delete here, let's say if I delete these details, now you go here and then again you execute this command, you see only one, and whichever is available here, that will be, this is basically the replica or the reflection of your database, which is, this is a GUI and this is all the CLI RDBMS, which integrates with the Tomcat servlet engine. Got it? Any doubt? Okay, so 100% you will get lot of issues, lot of errors, but if you able to achieve this diagram, then you can relate this to any of your project deployments, or if somebody is talking about Artifactory or the Tomcat location where you are trying to deploy, or the database, whether there is an integration or not. So all those things you could able to imagine based on this particular setup. Okay, so take two servers. I will once again explain. Server 1, server 2. Install these things and install these things, and then try to integrate the Tomcat and MySQL with this particular JDBC connector. Okay, and then hit the Tomcat. So what we'll do is tomorrow, each one of you member have to show this particular setup to me. Okay, if you face any issues, then and there only we will resolve the issue. Okay, you have to share your screen so that you can able to understand what it is going on. And this is a simple setup. Next, what we will do is we will have a high availability. We will go for 2 Tomcats, so that if one Tomcat is down, then the request should go to another Tomcat. We will achieve that setup. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes.
Any doubt?
Sir, I was trying to do the SSH for the NFS, and how to remove the public key once we activate it, sir?
How to remove?
Remove, I mean, after installing, after connecting the 2 servers, how to remove that connection? I mean, the SSH connection. Public.
The question is not clear.
When we create the 2 keys, the keygen command.
So you do keygen, you will create
Yes.
public key, private key, and then you copy the public key to another location.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
after making the connection between 2 servers through SSH, so is that possible? We can like break that connection, disable.
Yeah, you just execute this exit command, exit.
Okay, I mean like the one we created the public key. Can we delete that one?
I mean, like, see, if you just exit, that's it. It is fine. You need not to delete it. Why do you want to delete it?
No, I was just asking like if we are connecting like with someone else server and we don't want like any future connections with them. So in that
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Actually, you can cross-check the public key with the keys what you have in the authorization keys of the opposite server. Go and you can delete it. Not a problem. That is the only way, because if you delete your public key, again, let's say you have, let's say, for example, so let's say you have your server, okay, and you have, let's say you have multiple servers,
Yes, sir.
okay, and now let's say you have multiple connections, right? So assuming you have SSH passwordless connection to all these servers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have multiple connections. Now let's say this is your server, and these are server 1, server 2, server 3 of opposite. Now you want to break the connection of this one. Let's say you want to break this connection. You don't want this connection. So if you're thinking, okay, so from your end, you have your own public key.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have public key, private key. Now, just for the sake of this breakage, if you delete your public key, then what is the scenario? You will be losing all connections, right? Because they will be having your public key, but you don't have your public key. So the encryption will not happen. There's no authentication. So instead of deleting your public key, you have to go here in the server and remove the public key.
Okay.
Okay. So you have something called authorization keys, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Within this authorized keys, you have all the public keys of opposite servers in this particular server. So you need to remove your public key. That's it. That is done. Then you will be breaking the synchronization or the passwordless authentication with only this server, but rest of the servers you will have connections.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. that is how you have to do it.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So tomorrow you try to do the setup. Okay, I think tomorrow also we have some scrum calls, scrum meet. So every Monday and Tuesday we have scrum meetings from 7:30 to 8:30, I think, right?
Yes.
So I don't know whether you're joining or not, but it's mandatory. So I think tomorrow also we'll start a little late, but from Wednesday we'll be starting because all this week is my login is from morning 8 to 4, but it will go until 5. So that's how it goes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, then you start working on this document setup, and then yeah, I mean definitely you'll have a lot of questions. One by one, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have a good night.